Food storage and production is an important aspect of disaster preparedness. The first question to ask is, how much food should you store? Should it be for 72 hours, 3 weeks, 3 months, 1 year, or multiple year food supply? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints recommends in their pamphlet, All is Safely Gathered In, the basics of food home storage. Should be a 3-month supply. They suggest build a supply of food that is part of your normal daily diet, plus a longer term food storage. The second question is, what type of food should you store? How do you store fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, bakery products, fresh meat, and dairy products? You will need to loosen the goal of fresh and make substitutions. You can store vegetables, fruits, meat, and dairy products as canned, dehydrated, and freeze-dried. Substitutions can be made, such as fresh sprouts for salads. You can take wheat or flour and bake your own bakery products. There are some excellent canned bread products. There are several strategies to determining what actual foods you want to store. A valuable insight that was shared with me by a registered dietitian is that most people consume the same menu every 21 days, give or take a couple days, with a few infrequent meals, such as certain ethnic or cultural meals every 3 to 6 months, to prevent appetite fatigue. One approach to determine what type of food you want to store is to keep up a log of what you actually eat for 3 weeks, then multiply the food menu to the time frame you want to store food. For 30 weeks, just multiply by 10. Another approach is to obtain a published list. For example, a sample 3-month food storage supply list is provided at the website The Prepared LDS Family. Additional lists are provided in the book LDS Preparedness Manual, which can be obtained on the internet for free, and you can download it as a PDF. This particular hard copy I obtained off of Amazon. Now, there are 6 broad categories of food for food storage. The first one is canned food. We're all familiar with this from the grocery store. We have golden sweet corn, we have canned pears, we have the old iconic corned beef hash, Campbell's bean and bacon. And here's an excellent canned bread that I like from B&M, brown bread with raisin. And we're all familiar with our favorite canned food. The second broad category is commodity type foods. Here's an iconic Quaker Oats old-fashioned oatmeal. And I submit this should be the majority of your food storage program. Not just oatmeal, but other commodity type foods such as beans, pasta, honey. They're both nutritious and can be quite economical. The next category is that of dehydrated food. Here's a simple example. You add water, you let it rehydrate, and you're good to go. One category of food that can be quite useful to store long-term food for 20, 25, 30 years is that of freeze-dried food. And I've opened 2 different cans here. These are from Emergency Essential, and I opened them up, of course, prior to the filming. But here's some green peas, and you can see they did a really good job of filling it to the top. The little peas are in there, and you can eat them dry or reconstitute them with water. And here's another example where I opened it up. It's strawberries. And you can see, once again, Emergency Essentials did a great job of filling it towards the top, and the freeze-dried food is there, and it's just tastes excellent. Another category is that of meals ready to eat. And you can get surplus military meals ready to eat, or like this one here was actually specifically made for the civilian market. This is spaghetti and meatballs, complete meal including healthy entree, crackers, jam, cookie, dessert, beverages, and accessories. It's effectively a meal in a bag. The sixth category is that of frozen foods. Now there's a number of advantages here. You have a wide selection of foods. Frozen food can substitute for fresh food, and comparably good pricing. Of course, the major disadvantage is the limited storage of frozen foods and the risk of spoilage with loss of electricity. But plan for that contingency. Have a generator. Depending on the temperature surrounding the freezer unit, a generator being run for as little as 2 to 4 hours a day can maintain having the freezer unit keep the food frozen for 24 hours. So have enough fuel to keep the generator running for 2 or 3 weeks, at least for 2 to 4 hours a day. Now, admittedly, if the electric outage is projected to be for a long-term period, well, for 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to be eating a lot of frozen food. Now, I suggest, as I've mentioned, that a commodity type foods be the backbone or the core of your food storage, but having a mix of all the 6 categories will provide strength and diversity and help prevent appetite fatigue. Now, don't forget to store comfort foods, for example, chocolate. Include and rotate vitamins for the members of your group for an entire year. Ensure that the food is stored in a place that is dry, has a constant temperature, and store them in containers that are appropriate for long-term storage. So the number 10 cans, and as a rule of thumb, 100 number 10 cans will equal a year's supply of food for one person. Also, with commodity foods, ensure they're placed in number 10 cans or in food grade tubs, plastic tubs, and have it stored in Mylar bags with oxygen absorption packets, and then seal it, put it in the plastic tub, and put the lid on it. And that will store for 20, 25, 30 years. Just a few tips. Have an inventory list of your food with the name of the food, the location within your home, and the date purchased. Taste food prior to buying in large amounts. Have a variety of foods. Consider cook time and cooking fuel consumption. Remember spices. Label each food item with the purchase date. Rotate it if possible. Have equipment to prepare. Have an electric and hand grain mill. Nuts will last a long time, but will go bad. And do not try to store crackers, cookies, snack bars due to the short shelf life of them, and you may eat them all. I find I've done that in the past. You get a food craze, and the next thing you know, all the cookies are gone. So I don't store that type of food. Also, if you store any citric acid based items, they will definitely go bad on you over time. Items like pineapple and orange are wonderful to have in storage, but separate them from the other food and place them in containers where if it goes through, it leaks through the can, that it won't cause a great mess. And also rotate those items. Commodity foods are both economical, helpful, tasteful, and if prepared correctly, can have a long shelf life. They should be in correct storage in number 10 cans or food grade pails with storage in Mylar bags with oxygen absorber packets. East Coast Foods recommends the following for one person for a year. 1 year for one person. Grains, 400 pounds. This includes wheat, flour, rice, corn, oatmeal, and pasta. Powdered milk, 16 pounds. Legumes, 60 pounds. An example of this is dried beans and split peas. Cooking oil, 10 quarts, or 16 pounds of shortening equal 10 quarts. Now my wife prefers coconut oil for that. Sugar or honey, 60 pounds. And 67 pounds of honey equal 50 pounds of sugar. Salt, 8 pounds. And water, 14 gallons is suggested for 2 weeks reserve. Now, I would recommend upgrading this some. I would ensure that with the honey and sugar that you use at least 2/3 of that be honey, that with the cooking oil you use coconut oil, and we'd also suggest that you add to this at least a case, so 24 cans of red feather butter, which is just excellent. Now this will take the cost of a year's supply of food up to about $1,000. If you have to go mobile, have all your kitchen utilities in a plastic tub. Have a method of cooking if you lose electricity or run out of fuel. If fuel is available, a gas grill or Coleman stove is a great convenience. Also, a volcanic stove or Kelly kettle stove, cast iron Dutch oven, and frying pans are also outstanding and durable. All of these can be obtained usually at a camping store or from Amazon. If you do use a fireplace, make sure it's one that is properly built and in working order. Cleanup requires dish soap, sponges, dish pans with hot water, and I'd suggest one pan with the soap water, a second dish pan for rinsing, and then a third pan for a second rinsing. Have a disposal method for dishwater and residue. Food production is an integral part of self-reliance. Gardening with containers or a garden plot as small as 1,200 feet can support a small family. The company Great Courses has a number of excellent gardening courses. Raising animals is a source of protein. Poultry, meat, and egg production can be surprisingly easy. Stores such as Tractor Supply and Rural King will have supplies and books on the subject.